If you believe everyone deserves a place to call home, whether they live in McPherson or across the country, you can make it happen. At Housing for Good, we shine a light on housing challenges, spotlighting real people, real stories, and solutions shaping communities near and far. And with your support, we can go further in ending instability for good. Donate now at McPhersonHousingCoalition.org to help transform shelter into stability for someone somewhere today.
Welcome to Housing for Good, a podcast dedicated to housing topics and issues affecting our communities in McPherson County and beyond. With years of experience and expertise, hosts Kris Goodson and Karolyn Moore discuss housing challenges and opportunities with other experts from a variety of housing fields.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn.
And I'm Kris. We're so glad you're joining us today. In this episode, we're talking about Bethany Village, a vibrant senior living community in Lindsborg, Kansas.
But can we talk about our news first?
Oh, yeah.
Kris,
Yes.
I want to let everybody know that the alternative Christmas gift market is coming up November 8th. And I get it. It's November.
I know.
No. It's October.
But who's thinking about Christmas anyways? Yeah. But if you go to Walmart, the Christmas stuff is out.
And so is the Halloween stuff.
I know.
Nuts.
It's crazy.
But back to the alternative Christmas gift market. So this is something that nonprofits participate in. The Brethren Church is the one that started it years ago. And we have been there almost since they started it. But it gives the nonprofits the opportunity to set up a booth for people to come in and see what it is you're doing and donate money. Instead of buying another Christmas present for somebody, give money to a nonprofit in their name or in memory of who they were. It's just another way to kind of spread out the materialism that we see everywhere.
And what I also love about it is that you can come and find out what nonprofits are operating in your county. I think half the people don't even know what's available out there. I mean, not only that you can help support a cause, whatever that is, but also to learn about maybe McPherson Housing Coalition has a service that maybe somebody that you know needs, right? And so please come just come to visit and meet Karolyn and I.
Well, and there's refreshments, so there's food involved.
So you see us and food, and what else do you need?
Well, and I guess I should say it's being held from 9 to noon, November 8th. It's at the Cedars Event Center, so that tells you where to go. Now, you have some other news that we were just going to highlight a couple of things that's going on.
Yeah, so there is some new legislation that's being, I want to say, presented in Topeka. So one of them is, I have this form right here, and this is actually, it's called Kansas Homes, Kansas Values, Ensuring Safe Homes, Strong Neighborhoods under the Kansas Residential Landlord Act. So people don't always know that there is a Kansas Landlord Act that actually protects them, but sometimes the protection is not enough for tenants. So I'm going to read this a little bit, and each week what we're going to do is just focus on one of the bills and really get into it on the news section of our podcast, just to talk about what this is and why it's important. But I'm just going to read this just so you have a little bit of background as we move forward week to week. It says the Kansas rental market has shifted from a mom and a pop market invested in local community success to a corporate private equity market. So it used to be, mom and pop had 2 or 3 rentals. They had a little bit of extra income. Now what's happening is corporations are coming in and literally buying up whole neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So some of these statistics were mind-boggling to me that says when they come in, they usually increase the rent by a significant amount, and evictions are 3.5 times more often through these corporations than it would be if a mom and pop had the home. And so mom and pop had the home, you're struggling a little bit, you go talk to them and say, hey, I had this problem, my kid needed to go to the emergency room and I had to pay that bill, but I promise I'll get my rent paid. And usually they'd be, okay, can you pay this much a month or something and catch up?
And the mom and pops also cared about the community.
Yes.
And the health of the community. And so they were more willing to work with the people that lived there.
So, and the other part was So when we're looking at code violations, they're over 1.5 times more often with those corporations when they own homes, and especially in cities across Kansas. Topeka, Wichita, Gardner, Kansas City are all seeing more and more corporations walking into those communities and buying things up. They're buying whole neighborhoods. So if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're somebody who is, maybe you've never rented before, it's making it more and more difficult. So that is something that we are going to be focusing on a little bit each time. And then this is why it matters. Kansans believe in getting what you pay for, and families should get the safe, habitable housing the law guarantees. When you sign a lease, just as a landlord screens their renters, Kansans deserve transparency about the landlords they trust with the places they call home. Stronger accountability, protection, families healthy, and safety keeps neighborhoods stable. So I want to live in a neighborhood where I know what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't want to live in a neighborhood where all these homes are owned by a corporation, not taking care of the properties, and not really caring about how it's affecting me, maybe as a homeowner who lives next door. So it also preserves property values and reduces taxpayers' costs for public safety. So that's all I'm going to go over today. But each week, I just want to kind of go over the bills that are being submitted in Topeka so that people can see what changes that what's the name of the group that we're working with?
Kansas Housing Advocacy Network.
Yes, that's who we're working with. So we'll go over what they're talking about, the bills that they're looking to pass, and all the little things that really matter about those. It's really interesting, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do just a tad every week, just a little bit.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Okay, so as you said earlier, we are going to be talking today about Bethany Village. It's a vibrant senior living community in Lindsborg, Kansas. And we have Kris Erickson, who's part of that Bethany Village team.
Yeah, so can you introduce yourself a little bit? Obviously, we said your name.
And you were correct. I am Kris Erickson. I'm very proud to serve with the Bethany Village team there in Lindsborg. I've been in senior care for about 24 years now. I'll have held a license for 24 years in November, but I've been at Bethany Village for 11 of those years.
Wow, that's
And I have loved 99% of those minutes I've been there.
99%? That's just that 1% that doesn't quite get it sometimes.
You know, there's always that one moment of the day where difficulty arises, but I'm blessed to work with a phenomenal team.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. So could you tell our listeners about the mission of Bethany Village and what makes it unique?
The Bethany Village mission has always been about caring for others. Our mission statement is celebrating life's journey together in God's love. We are a faith-based Lutheran mission. And recently we've become Bethany Village. Originally it was Bethany Home, dedicated mostly just to the care of seniors in a long-term care setting or as senior housing in the original days. And we've expanded our services in recent years, and some of our residents that weren't in the long-term care part of it came to me one day and said, Kris, we aren't in the home, but we're still part of the community here. And that led us to the rebranding of Bethany Village, because we have more than just senior housing and long-term care. We also have independent living and assisted living these days. And it was our independent folks that strongly recommended we find something all-encompassing that also included them and also celebrated their independence. So to succeed, you always need a village, and that's what we have.
I love that. I love the idea that you care for other people, that you're creating a village. I think that's really important today, that we have connection with each other, that we care for our communities, and that people feel like they matter and have dignity and all of that. It's something that we like to talk a lot about in this show, is what does that look like? What is community, and what is housing, and how does all that come together? So that is super cool. I love it.
I feel like it's really important because a lot of times the parents still live where they raised their kids and the kids went to school, but the kids are no longer there. So there's nobody coming to visit mom or dad on a weekly or monthly basis. Maybe they see them once a year. There are also those that have nobody around here that's going to come see them. And so that can be really lonely.
It can. Throughout my career, I've noticed one of the things that we find when people move in for care is how lonely they were before they arrived. Often they've lost a sense of purpose. As you mentioned, the kids can't make it back to visit because they're busy leading their own lives. But by bringing people together in a living setting and in a community setting, there's a lot more interaction. And we've seen people go from from almost complete failure to thriving in the new setting, making friends, and folks who aren't used to seeing mom being the life of the party are just amused at how outgoing she is once she has friends and neighbors to talk to on a regular basis.
I love it.
Oh, that is awesome. So what types of housing do you have? You go from full care to, what is that exactly?
We cover the spectrum of aging services. We have independent living. We have 51 independent living units.
Wow.
38 of those are rent-controlled former HUD housing that were designed with seniors in mind. The remainder of those 51 units are duplexes, triplexes. Those are larger units, 2-bedroom, 2-bath with basements. From there, we move on to our assisted living. We're licensed to care for 50 people in our assisted living. In the assisted living setting, it's much like owning an apartment, but there are staff on standby 24 hours a day. You can get as many or as few services as you wish, but you've got safe housing around you. You've got zero entry thresholds. You've got walk-in showers that have no threshold to trip. It's entirely designed to make the living experience safer than you might see in an average home. And from the assisted living, we can move on towards our long-term care, and we currently have a licensure for 85 long-term care beds in our building. That's 85 individual rooms. People aren't required to share rooms anymore with our organization. We have husbands and wives that sometimes come in and they say, hey, we want to spend time together. Well, you each get your own room, and we'll call this one a living room. And sometimes we have spouses come in and say, we each want our own room. So
he snores and I'm not listening to it anymore.
Exactly. We accommodate people and we meet them where they are and we meet their needs in the way that they like.
Okay, so I think I just, in my brain, calculated you have almost 200 people living at Bethany Village.
That's amazing.
That's correct. And we have about the same number of caregivers.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's almost a one-on-one. I mean, what is that ratio?
Staffing-wise, it is. We support a healthier nursing staffing ratio than other organizations might. Part of that is our nonprofit mission. Our entire purpose is to provide care. Yeah. So we make sure that whether somebody calls in sick or has a sick kid, there's still somebody there to provide the care. But we also have maintenance, landscaping, housekeeping, laundry, kitchen assistants, you name it. We have administrative positions. As you know, government billing on many things can be very difficult. Mm-hmm. And we're blessed to have a very talented billing team. And then folks need paid, so we've got payroll and accounting. And,
people need paid.
It's surprising how often that happens.
I know. People don't understand nonprofits have to pay their staff.
I know.
Yeah.
But we're very proud of that, too. We do our best to treat our staff very well with quality benefits.
So do you have a waiting list?
We have had waiting lists,
okay.
and the waiting list is a little controversial because often when you have a waiting list, everybody wants to be first on a list. But then when we call and say, are you ready? We've got a space for you. No, maybe later. And you'll spend 2 to 3 hours hearing no, maybe later. So we prioritize what we're seeing. If somebody's inquired in the last month, we'll probably reach out to them first because they're actively inquiring. Mm-hmm. But we will keep a list. We do know who's requesting assistance, and we reach out to them.
Oh, that's a great way to do it,
Yeah.
I know for my dad, when he went into a nursing home, that was hard. He decided it for himself. It wasn't our decision. But then when his name came out of the list, he was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this or not. And I just kind of had to say, hey, Dad, I can't care for you anymore. I love you. It's been 7 years, but I couldn't physically care for him. And I knew he would be more comfortable with a shower that he could be wheeled with his wheelchair and all the different things that a home can offer that we couldn't do at home. And but that's a hard thing for the family, and it's hard for the person.
It's very hard.
It's a hard thing. And so it's great to know that when you send your loved one to a place like a village like this, that they're being well taken care of, that people really care about them, and that you feel better about the whole situation. Yeah. I was so happy when he was surrounded by people who truly cared, and I could tell.
Yeah.
You can tell when the staff cares and when they go the extra mile and do whatever's necessary to take care of that person. So I am very grateful for the services that you have.
I walked that path myself recently. My father and his wife were in Northwest Kansas, great little community. They had their home there, and I just toured around and thought, well, they thought they wanted to stay close to home because that's where their friends were. But the more I toured, the more I realized I trusted the people I worked with more than anyone else. So I made the choice to move them 4 hours away, which was a little difficult. But they suddenly had friends around them in the dining room. They were telling stories about the new people they'd met. It wasn't just talking to them about what they saw on the television in the last week. And they did very well with that. And through his last day, my stepmother's still with us. And through his last day, I knew that my father was loved.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest difference.
Yeah, that's so. When my father passed away, I walked into his room and started bawling, and the nurses all grabbed me and hugged me and cried with me. And that was like, wow. I mean, that was a very emotional thing for me to lose my first parent. And it was like,
well, and you lost your dad when you were on vacation. So that made it even harder because you weren't here.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that residents' needs and preferences are prioritized in the daily operations?
That's a great question. And Kansas is one of the leaders in resident-centered care. It's a concept where, to summarize it, I used to joke with people, I don't operate a senior care facility. I operate a cruise ship that doesn't go anywhere. Now,
man, I want to sign up for that.
You might find a few slight differences, but we let those who live with us determine what kind of day they want. They get to determine what kind of bathing schedule they'd like, if they want to have one once a week, every few days, showers, baths. And then they go through menu selection. So when they arrive in the assisted long-term care, we have a process where we just have them fill out questionnaires. What do you like? What do you not like? And then we do our very best to accommodate those needs.
So what amenities do you offer? What exactly, could I go on a bus trip? Could I go to town? I mean, what does that look like?
We do have micro adventures. I'm not sure we send anybody to New York on a bus yet, but
well, okay, there's a suggestion.
I'll take that back to my activities team, and we have opportunity in all of our settings.
Yeah.
Our folks in independent living are usually within a block of our long-term care center, the Bethany home. And they're welcome to come over and join us for meals. They get a discounted meal rate. They can come over and join us for activities. We have live music. We have movie nights. We have ice cream days every Thursday.
Well, I'm coming for the ice cream days.
Well, you got to rent. No, you're invited.
Oh,
You're
darn.
invited.
I want to have ice cream days.
Yeah.
I love ice cream.
But we have shopping days.
Oh, that's awesome.
We do everything we can to keep folks active and involved in the community. We attend events as often as we can. We have a group. Hillningsfest is coming, so I'll just put a plug in for Lindsborg's Hillningsfest.
Yes, that's a pretty awesome day.
We have a front row seat reserved for many of our residents that wish to attend. And although I think it was a former Hillningsfest royalty told me a few years ago, no, I've seen that. I don't want to go back. So not everybody wants to go, but it is so much fun.
Well, it's a good thing you don't force them.
Yeah.
You are getting on this bus and going to that thing.
And we also have an interesting vehicle that we call the Surrey. It's basically a large trailer with a serried top on it. It's made out of metal for durability. But we take tours around town in that. And one of the favorite things is to say, well, this is where this school used to be, or this is where my house used to be. And the person driving the Surrey will make sure that we stop by locations that these folks remember, whether the church is still there or the church is no longer there. They get to do what I do with my kids. I take my kids somewhere and I say, okay, this used to be, and my children are completely bored, but
And
when these people have lived it, they are living history, and they can tell you what the town once was and what it was like.
Do your kids roll their eyes? That's what I always get.
They do, but they're kind about it. They roll their eyes silently.
I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, well, all I have is the rear view mirror, so.
That's so funny. Okay, so do you provide medical services, on-site health care, and emergency support? I'm guessing all of that is part of the care that you provide in specific parts of the village?
We do. If we were to, we can't do that for our independent living simply because we don't carry a home health licensure that would permit that. But staff do respond to emergencies there, and they provide standby assistance. Basically, we can't lay hands on a person if they're showing some kind of a medical emergency, but we can be with them. We can offer them a blanket, a pillow. If they just want to get up and they don't have something nearby, we can offer them a chair to help stand up. But we can care for them as much as we can without laying hands on them to provide that care in the independent living. In our assisted living, we have 24-hour nursing staff, whether it's medication aides or nurse aides or LPN or LVN level nurses or RNs that are available 24 hours a day to provide assistance. And sometimes in the assisted living setting, that mostly is stabilize and call for professional help through the ambulance 911 service. And in the long-term care setting, we have a lot of staff on hand 24 hours a day. There's always a nurse on duty in the long-term care, multiple nurses on duty in long-term care, and staff on call regularly.
So we
stay
know,
busy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We know that staffing is key to maintaining quality care. And it sounds to me like it's really important to you. So what initiatives are in place for staff training and development?
That's another great question. I'm very proud of what we do in this arena. Bethany Home and Bethany Village have partnered with area schools. It started with a man who was looking for a way to help his community, and his life had been deeply affected by a nurse aide. So partnering with the hospital and Hutchinson Community College, we've created a summer program where people can get their nurse aide licensure absolutely free. I think we can graduate about 48 students every summer. It's often very popular with our high school kids in the area. We lure our high school kids in through the dietary department, and that's one of our biggest recruiters. I was looking at where our staff have come from over the years, and I realized a lot of them have been after-school dishwashers, or they serve meals after school. So our after-school kids are really one of our best opportunities to bring people into the care community. Beyond that, we also partner with Hutchinson Community College on their nursing programs. A few years ago, I was asked to participate in the Salina Tech development of their nursing program, and we've continued to be partners with them. And another opportunity arose in the midst of the pandemic out of nowhere. I received a slightly panicked call from Kansas Wesleyan saying, hey, can you host our students? They didn't care for the environment they were in at the time. They knew that we had hosted others. So we also host nursing students from Kansas Wesleyan. And we've got a phenomenal feeder system there. It helps us maintain our staffing as best we can. But nationwide, healthcare staffing is an enormous challenge.
Okay, I'm just going to say I absolutely love how you recognized we're going to have a problem down the road, and you have gone strategically into specific places to develop the workforce and to bring people into just the realm of realizing this is something you could do and be successful at, and we're going to help you get there.
Yeah, I really like this too. It's very forward thinking, out of the box, all the kind of stuff that I love to be able to get. I mean, somebody said this to me at our conference. We had our conference a few weeks ago, and they said, we're surrounded by colleges everywhere. I mean, McPherson, Bethany College, we have Newton and Salina, and all these colleges. Why are we not taking advantage of that with these students and to let them see, maybe senior care is something I might want to get into. I'd never thought about it before. So I love it too. So Bethany Village has strong ties to the Lindsborg community. How do you engage with the local community or organizations or things going on in Lindsborg? Is that a big part of Bethany Village, is connecting with this community? Lindsborg's a cool town, I have to say.
Lindsborg is a very cool town.
It's a cool town. I love Lindsborg. So how would you say that you connect with the community?
That's a really good question as well. We are so involved, I'm not sure that we ever disconnect. Whether we're having residents out on one of our activities or it's staff volunteering around town, you'll always see a member of our community involved in things. We also have a program that our employees developed. It's a charitable program called ACTS, based on it's better to give than to receive. And as a group, every employee can donate like $1 out of every paycheck, and it goes into a pool. And annually, we give that back to the community. It doesn't go to any of our staff, although it might go to a student in a school where that staff member's child goes. But it's a chance for us to give back. And then throughout the year, we have other opportunities. We have an ice cream social every year. Pandemic years, we paused it, but it's back now, and that's always a popular event. We have a few hundred people, and a small band called the Front Porch Pickers come out to entertain us.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And so is that open to your community to
It is
come?
open to the community.
Okay.
Anybody's welcome to come to our ice cream social.
Have you noticed ice cream seems to be a theme?
I'm picking that up.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that doesn't like ice cream?
Well, I think the elderly population, they maybe get to enjoy it a little bit more than those of us that are a little bit younger, because honestly, at that point, just do what you love. If you love ice cream, just eat ice cream.
I know. That's crazy.
And that's our philosophy in care. If it's something you enjoy, we aren't going to take that away from you. You survived 80 years eating like this.
I know.
Why would I ask you to eat something different?
At this point, who cares,
Exactly.
right? It's like, just let the person have what they want at this point. That's what I always said with Dad. Can I have this? I don't care. Eat what you want. You're 85 years old.
Yeah. I mean, there's still self-determination for everybody
I
there.
know. So technology, how does that affected you? Have you seen changes in the
Can
way
I go
that
back
you
to
bring?
community involvement again? 'Cause
Oh,
we
yes.
do more.
Oh, you do
Yeah.
more.
We do
Okay,
so much
stop.
more.
I'm skipping things
I
today.
will limit this to just two of the things that I'm proud of. We have an annual gala dinner where the community can come out and directly support us. The
nice.
last 2 years that we've held it, we've had dueling pianos. And that's a fun event for everybody. It gives us a chance to relax, pick some songs, sing them together, and it gets slightly rowdy for our community, but it's still so much fun.
Rowdy.
Well, some of those songs,
So-
we don't always pick the lyrics to the songs. So as everybody's singing along, sometimes I'm skipping a word or two.
So with the dueling,
But no, it's a clean family event. It's just.
I love the dueling pianos because do they get to choose which piano player starts the song?
We let the players choose, and what we found in the last two performances, we used two different groups, was that one of them really will have a talent for a certain song or the sound of that singer, and it's not always the female singing the female lead. Sometimes the male will pick a song that he just knows the song better, and they can belt that out, and the rest of us join in.
No,
My
that's
only
fun.
experience with this was one time we were on vacation, and it was the funniest thing because one of the piano players was completely blind, and he just played because he knew the piano.
Yeah.
And so people would write down their songs and take it up and put it on the piano. And this one woman, they're all going to the guy that can see, the one that can read what you're writing down. This one woman gets up and goes and puts her paper on the blind man's piano. And oops. And the other guy, he really gave it to her. He said, "Ma'am, I don't know if you realize it, but that paper's going to sit there all night because he doesn't see what you've written on there." And everybody busted out laughing.
Oh, that
But
is
it was
funny.
a lot of fun.
It is.
I've
It
never
is.
seen dueling pianos. Now I'm super curious.
You're going to have to go.
I know. I'm going for the ice cream personally. If that's a different thing, I don't know, but that's why I'm going to be there. I love ice cream. That's my favorite.
And we have one other big event that I like to brag about. We have a back-to-school bash that we've started. I can't even remember the year we started it, but we partner with the hospital and the school district. We collect a ton of backpacks, a ton of school supplies, and we lay them all out in the park. We offer hot dog dinner and just fun for the kids to come in, grab a meal, pick through the supplies, see each other before the school year begins. But it's a way to make sure every kid has what they need to go back to school.
Oh, that's
Oh, I love
and are the
it.
seniors there as well when you're doing all of this?
Often they can. It depends on, I'll tell you, it depends on the heat.
Oh, absolutely.
If it's going to be 104 degrees,
Yeah.
they'll often skip it. But we also have internal events. There's usually a summer splash 4th of July type party where water balloons have been involved, dunk tanks have been involved,
Man,
squirt guns have
we
been
need to
involved.
get invited to these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be there and watch.
I love it how you have taken this village of older adults, but they have so much wisdom and so much to give back. And somehow you have managed to include them in all ages of all activities. And they're a part of the community. They're not sheltered away. They're
Yeah.
not protected and kept behind a fence. They're out in the public. I absolutely love what you're doing up there.
It's definitely not the same nursing home that my grandparents were in.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you remember how that was back in the olden days.
Yeah.
Our residents can also teach. I got to give a shout out to Mrs. B. She has created the book bunch where students, I think usually third graders, will come in and read to our seniors. And we have a lot of school teachers there still, and they can assist, or sometimes they just enjoy hearing from the kids. Kids are always amusing.
That is amazing. Okay. Well, now we can move on to my next question.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, my boring.
Sorry to off-road you.
This is my boring question as compared to ice cream and the kids and backpacks and all of that. But technology. So, how has it affected you at all? Are you having to do things differently? Is there more requirements? How is that for you to be able to run your village and then be able to look at?
Technology has always been an interesting topic for us because we're often slow to adopt. I still remember a day when we decided we were going to do all of our charting, because when you provide care, you have to write down what care you provided, otherwise it didn't happen. So we chart absolutely everything. And I had nurses that said, if I have to use a computer for this, I'm not going to do it. Now this was in a previous building, but
That's hilarious.
they were not going to use one of those computers. And now everything's on computer. We clock in, we clock out, we track all the time, benefits are on the computer, and then all of our charting's on the computer. We're always looking at better and better systems. We get the updates. Those are working great. We've finally selected the top performing charting system in the United States. And some staff are starting to embrace AI. And I'll just say I'm some staff.
Yeah.
We're finding that it won't do your job for you, but it sure can make it easier. So something that you would have spent hours searching for to get your materials together, you ask your favorite AI program, hey, can you find me articles relating to this topic? And it brings it all straight to you.
It is a great tool to use to be able to use it. I like it myself, to try to help you to write an email really quick. Hey, can you write this and just, you know what I mean? I use it a lot to try to put things together. We're having our countywide housing meetings, and it puts a lot of the material together for me. I don't have time to do it.
Yeah, it really does streamline your workflow. It's not universally available in every area. Of course, we're in a high-touch field. We are all about care, so a lot of ours is simply hands-on and then just writing it down on the side. But we're keeping our eye open for opportunities in the future. There is so much potential right now, but we won't implement anything until we know it's 100% secure and safe.
That's so funny that you mentioned some staff said, if I have to use a computer, I won't do it. I remember in another lifetime before I worked at the Housing Coalition, I worked in a dental office. And at that time, it was just this discussion about doing all of the charting on the computer and then scanning patient files, client files into the computer. And it's like, but what if the computer freezes up? What if there's no backup? What if? And eventually you just get to the point where you start moving forward and you find out, okay, this is going to work.
We can make this cool.
We can make this happen.
And the people we're caring for are becoming more and more tech savvy. A frequent question is, what's your Wi-Fi password? And that's about any setting.
I know, right?
And in our independent living, we try to make sure that they have same kind of access, but it's always interesting to see who's the early adopter in the group and who's going to wait, or whose friends suddenly taught them I can look these things up. So it's a fascinating process, but the generations coming in are definitely tech connected.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, what are the long-term goals that you have for Bethany Village, and how do you plan on achieving those?
That's a very good question. Long-term goals are always a little bit tricky because day one, you'll get this vision and say, okay, by the end of 5 years, I'm going to have this entire campus developed. And then you get into the process and the planning, and then funding avenues change and the market changes. And suddenly what you thought people wanted, they don't want. You put a community poll out and you hear what a lot of folks want, but when they finally arrive, nobody's using the service they thought they wanted. So we're taking it cautiously. We see ourselves as stewards. Any income we have is not ours. It belongs to those we care for and to the community as a whole. So my main goal is to stay relevant and useful to our community. We want to be a valuable service that we provide. And right now we're navigating the path forward. We would like to see more independent living, but as you probably know, a lot of the grants are disappearing and construction prices are currently at a point that...
It's hard.
Right. I mean, the rent you would have to charge for a new construction makes it nearly impossible without the assistance of a grant or a major donor.
It's difficult.
We're looking for major donors, and when we find the funds, we will be creating more spaces for seniors to be comfortable, whether it's independent, assisted. And we're finding people are staying independent much longer with the use of in-home technologies, whether it's just telling your Alexa or Echo Dot. Sorry if I triggered anybody's Echo Dot or Alexa, but I've had that happen at home. But no, just telling that to say, hey, it's time to take the medication. There's simple tools that can be used to stay independent for longer, and then access to meals. Like I mentioned, our independent living folks can join us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner at a reduced price.
Yeah, this is really inspiring of how they're really caring for the community at the same time, really looking at what can we do, what else can we do? Can we do more? What are we doing? What is correct? Is this what our people really want? I mean, what a great place to be. I would go there.
And I have parents that are older. So what are some practical things that I can do to keep them in their home as long as possible? You mentioned the meals, and you mentioned the reminder of medications. What are some other things that you yourself have seen work before that somebody could utilize for their loved ones before they actually come to live where they need somebody around all the time?
The number one thing I would say would be to create a safe space for them to live in their home. You need to watch out for trip hazards everywhere in the house. Throw rugs, thresholds on doors. Bathtubs are terrible. Your average bathroom's designed to entrap. I don't want to say it's designed to entrap, but it can entrap somebody that falls.
Yes.
I've had an EMS responder refer to the space between the sink, the toilet, and the bathtub as the Bermuda Triangle, because that's where people end up, and it's very hard to provide assistance from those areas. So making sure that their home is designed for their needs. As we build, we'll elevate electrical plugs a few inches higher than your normal ones, just so there's no bending and stooping.
Yeah.
Make sure you have the appliances in the kitchen that they need. If stove becomes a danger, air fryers always have a timer on them. So make sure they have the things they need to stay safe in their homes first. Beyond that, there is technology, pill reminders, there are pill dispensers. And if you're interested, there are in-home technology companies that are offering services. I've looked at these for years. None of them quite meet a standard I would want to put our name on, but they would still be useful. There are some that just monitor for motion and say, has this person been in the kitchen today? Have they been in the living room? Did the front door open? And it will send feedback to a family member. And that's where your family member becomes the caregiver for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So there are options to stay in home a very long time, but I would always caution, make sure the home is safe. We have a lot of folks that come from 2-story farmhouses. They've got 5 or 6 steps just to get to the front porch. And we don't want to see somebody fail at home before they arrive with us. I would rather see them stay and move in safely, and not have to have an accident falling before they arrive. But we do see a lot of folks that wait way too long to move.
Yeah. So what else? Have we missed anything? Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about what you do or your philosophy or anything that maybe we've missed?
I'm so incredibly proud of the mission I work for and the people that I work with. It's just an absolute blessing. And I could talk about every part of it all day long, but I do want everybody to realize that our seniors are valuable. There are times where we think of putting them aside and I'll call mom or dad next week, but they need to remain involved in our communities. The history they bring with them is what's kept me in serving seniors this long. I've met World War II bomber pilots that, as one of them put, was the guest of the German government for a few months. And
wow.
He took a horrific experience and gave real-life details to stuff the rest of us only read in books. And he maintained a good sense of humor about it all. I've known people that were riding on the orphan trains that visited Kansas. So these things that you've read about in history are still living in the people that we serve. And my biggest thing would be to encourage everyone to get to know your seniors. They are amazing people.
Yeah, I would echo that. They bring a wealth of knowledge, and, they grew up in a time that we, like you said, read about in books, or you see in a movie and you think, I don't know. And so just talk to them.
Thank you for being with us today, Kris. We really enjoyed this. This was a great interview. Again, we learned all kinds of things we had no idea about what was happening at Bethany Village, and now we have all this information, and we've shared it with all of you.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Well, thank you for having me.
So thank you to our listeners for tuning in to Housing for Good. If you would like to leave a review, if you know somebody that should be on our podcast, if you have a conversation topic that we have not covered in over a year that we've been doing this, we would love to hear from you. Please leave us a review, drop us a line, give us some feedback, and you can do that at housingforgood@mcphersonhc.org.
And have a great day.